세러데이 쇼다운, KT 롤스터 대 DN 슈퍼스.
Do the players really have impact on the draft, or do the coaches even have impact at all? And seeing a moment like this makes me feel like it's definitely a two-sided coin. As we move into this draft here, as mentioned, first pick for HLE, which was surprising to me considering you have Zeus and Zeka here. Counter pick can be quite strong, as well as grabbing the two champions for your bottom duo, where the space was kind of expecting that's going to be the focus in draft. Ashe Seraphine was one of the lanes I don't think they actually mentioned, because it's crazy that it's still available here in this third game, but that's a really strong opportunity here for Gen G to lock in both of those picks here on second pick. Depending on what Kanavi grabs, because I imagine it's probably going to be a Kanavi pick first.
I could imagine that also.
Well, if he's going for Xin.
The Ezreal
is up.
banned once again. Actually got it all the way through the last draft, but now the bot lane bans are really starting to set in, and I'm really interested in what's going to be played. I think the shout for the Ziggs Pike from the space is a really good one, because we could see some weird and wonderful stuff there towards the bottom side. I just really hope the priority on the Yunara Lulu is low. I think that lane is just not that good, personally.
Hasn't been doing as well as it was a lot earlier on, but it is still a strong scaling pick. We'll see what happens as the Skarner is taken away from Canyon. I feel like that's a really cool pick, given how deep we are in the jungle.
Orianna or Cassiopeia, one of them is getting through, or maybe
or both.
That's our mid lane matchup. And I think that if you're the Orianna, you're kind of okay with it. I think you outrange the Cassio decently well. You're not really too worried about Miasma. And Cassio's just going to be banned. So what is Chovy's answer to the Orianna?
He definitely has a plan. Maybe that's what he and Ryu were talking about.
They're going to need to make one.
Nocturne is also available. So consider the insane power that Hanwha Life Esports could have here.
Well, they better pick the Nocturne here.
But they don't have an Aurora to pair it with either. It's quite a peculiar situation, as they're going to take an early Canyon Lee Sin.
All right. Well, that is very dangerous, because Nocturne is still a thing, Gen G.
And also, they're not getting a strong bottom duo here either. I'm really surprised by this pick, because I don't think Hanwha Life Esports were planning on grabbing a Lee Sin here themselves, so he didn't really take anything away. Almost feels like Gen G just want more information, as the answer may be a Galio. Still a flexible pick here in this draft, but given the Rumble is already gone and the Aurora is already gone, probably not.
It hasn't been winning a whole lot, as Kanavi can play basically anything. I mean, Pantheon is also a decent combo with the Orianna.
Rek'Sai jungle, if he's into it.
I was going to say, like, Rek'Sai was Kanavi's original pick back when he debuted. But not really a jungler anymore. The Pantheon will be the decision, so leaving that Nocturne Orianna combo on the table. And what will Zeka be locking in? Likely for Zeus here, unless they want to get a Lulu or something like that. Still a lot of champions that can go alongside it available now.
If you want to go for a top pick, Renekton is the best bet with what's left. Okay. So they have a very strong top side here. A lot of mid-game power, a global threat to match the Galio. And Cassante, which we expected would be a high prio pick here in this final game, is looking like it's going to be the answer. Although
the keen 100% win rate Vayne, ignore all the times that he didn't play it this season.
Yeah, I don't personally. I'm not a big truster of Keen's Vayne, but
what do you mean? He hasn't lost on it, Wolf,
this year
this tournament.
In this tournament, he did lose to Zeus playing Vayne in the LCK Cup Finals very iconically. I will never forget the Bane cosplay by our analyst on the desk right now.
Hey, that was a long time ago. And losing to Broken Blade also a long time ago. As the Poppy going to be banned away here. Trying to
That's true. I forgot about the Broken Blade game. I was like, which reference are you making? I thought you were talking about the other one.
Pick your poison, my friend.
Well,
there's a few.
They do have a lot of extra damage with this Vayne. And it is going to be a strong matchup for the Vayne early on in this game.
And it does actually continue to open the door for a weird bottom lane. And both teams now looking for bottom lane champions. That's a Poppy support ban coming on in here.
Yeah, I just kind of feel like the scaling up, like you need scaling damage here as Gen G, but your draft can be quite fragile because there's so much mid-game power here in this Hanwha Life Esports draft, which feels very 2026 Hanwha, right? All in, aggressive.
Yep.
And
I think someone needs to ban Pyke. Otherwise, a team is going to play it. Like, that is what's happening this game.
I mean, there's another world where they try to play for just more scaling AP, like a Mel in the bottom lane.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to have the Pyke, although that's really common. Just wonder what the plans would be. If we end up with like Genji playing Corki in this draft, I'd be very concerned. Well, they won't be because it's banned away.
Well, I think you lock Pyke and then play Mel or Ziggs. I think that's something that you could definitely do here if you are Genji. Could be an awkward composition, but we'll see what Ruler wants to lock in here.
Just don't feel like there's a pick that fixes this draft here for me for Genji. Like
they already have an
so
AD
many
carry.
holes.
That's where my head is, right? And so you just can play around Keen in late game team fights, I guess. Let him do that consistent damage. We've seen Vaynes really go crazy in the later team fights, especially when piloted by Keen, as there is a Rakan lock-in for Duro. Okay, will that mean that Gumayushi's going to deny the Lovers duo? He could theoretically do that. Rakan Galio has been a pretty devastating combo in the past, but we haven't seen it so much recently.
I mean, he's not going to be able to play Xayah Rakan, which he was probably considering here. He could just play a scaling pick, like Aphelios or Jinx, and lock the Nautilus in response. They want to see what that AD carry is first, but they can't. I got trolled again by right at first selection. I don't know why that happened to me twice today. I'm just so caught up
Nautilus, Xayah could be the choice here. They could just do that.
I just feel like if you go for a scaling pick here, it solves the one thing that's missing in your comp, which is just sustained damage. And the Xayah will fit the bill there. So it almost felt like they chose the Rakan because they expected this, but the Xayah still comes through, and the Xayah is the larger issue.
Do we get Space Bane? Because so many times when Xayah is picked, someone will pick Kai'Sa. That is just how it goes since 2017.
I mean, it's a pretty good angle for the Kai'Sa. I kind of forgot about it because it's been so fringe this year and very rarely picked up, but works out. Instead, they're looking for a potential Sivir scaling angle here. I'm just not 100% sold on this draft here for Genji. There's a movement speed from the ult. Will be very valuable for everyone. It's actually incredibly strong here in its own right in isolation. But the Sivir's going to take so long to be a late-game threat. Xayah will also take some time before she's the really scaling, powerful, scary, deadly Xayah that Guma always seems to end up getting to. But they have so many ways to set him up, so many ways to succeed. Like, the Nautilus makes this composition even more threatening. And maybe Guma just gets so many kills early because he's set up for success that it doesn't take as long.
Yeah, I'm just so scared of Kanavi in this game. I think so much of this comes down to Canyon and how well he can actually track this Pantheon in the early stages, because Kanavi has been so incredible for HLE so far this season that they're going to need to have a bell on him. Like, they just need to put a bell on him and hope that he's jangling really, really loud whenever he walks towards a lane. And then after level 6, he's not even going to need to do that.
I like how you envision this situation. Canyon's Lee Sin has been something that we've talked about for years. We have so many photoshops of Bald Canyon, Canyon with headband, Polar Bear with headband.
Oh, yeah.
Over the years, it is an iconic pick for him. Keen's Vayne, not as well known. Chobi's a good Galio player, but like, this comp looks deadly here for HLE.
And Zeka has been so good on the Orianna as recently as like a day ago. Let's get onto the Rift, see how it goes for Game 3. All right, Hanwha fans, very, very loud here today. Zeka is going to take a little bit of damage from the Winds of War, but avoids the Sonic Wave. Therefore, the Orianna is going to be just fine. This will be a difficult lane for the Galio. Top lane will be a difficult lane for the Renekton.
And bottom lane will be a difficult lane for Delight and Guma if the dredge lines do not hit. Otherwise, they actually have a lot of power in this lane. They have the ward advantage here in the middle brush.
Yep, sustain advantage as well for the Rakan. The Gleaming Quills are going to be helping out there. This is actually really interesting because we haven't had to adjudicate like lanes like this for quite some time.
Yeah, what's up with these engage supports? Yeah, what's going on?
Like going to find a minion there.
Yeah, see, you miss the hooks. Sometimes you lose your health.
They also lose their ward, unfortunately, as the Ricochet is doing some work as Genji take control of this lane. We did expect that the Sivir Rakan should be a little bit more powerful at this stage, but Gumayusi is going to be extremely safe as this game goes on with that Featherstorm, and I think he's going to need to be with Canyon searching for him, and Chovy ready to land on top. Obviously, this is not one of Chovy's most flashy picks, but definitely one of his most played.
The CC for... I mean, he did have that amazing taunt, iconically, when taunt was basically changed because of him. And when I look at this Xayah pick for Guma, I think more about Gumayushi's ability to play Xayah and position well and have great feather callbacks and how good he is at the champion, rather than I think about, like, okay, is Xayah press R equals safe? Because, like, sometimes that's how you look at Xayah in drafts. But for me, for Guma, I'm like, oh, there's so much more to it than that in this game. Especially
it's more about securing Baron, let's be honest.
There you go. But there's so many CCs here that kind of persist and are difficult to deal with. Like, at least in Sonic Wave is very difficult to Xayah R because you just kind of wait and then you press it, right? Or a kick. Very difficult to outplay. Taunts on the ground, the persisting hitbox of the Rakan ultimate, for example. But look at Guma. He's like really the only person playing Xayah. Perfect win rate, 3-0. Now, Hanwha have done a lot of winning, but they trusted him on it when no one else is playing this pick. And he's like, yeah, that's me. Trust me. I do it every time.
And it's looked pretty good thus far. It does also often give Delight the ability to play one of these engage supports, and he is going to be able to find the anchor here. As Duro once again just gets a Gleaming Quill, and that is going to nullify that exchange. Still, Guma able to get that W damage off quite nicely here, as he does pull back the feathers, but with the wave clear of the Sivir, and the fact that Gen G just get access to the wave, there's no enchanter to push them out or anything like that, can certainly be a little bit dangerous here for HLE, and I don't think they'll ever really get lane control as Kanavi's coming down.
Well, this could be scary.
I've seen this before. As I think they've got an idea as to what's coming. As there's the grand entrance. Duro actually playing great keep away. Does absorb the anchor and then just battle dances over to Ruler. And with Canyon moving up, Gen G have weathered the storm. They still hold on to a slight gold lead as well as, oh, that Q. I think it finished off a minion instead of doing anything else. So they do clear out this wave, and HLE's little ruse is not going to come true.
Yeah, they do get away. Really good play from Duro there to absorb the hits and then rejoin Ruler, utilizing his kit very well there. Now, we reset. Things are slightly in favor of Gen G right now because a large part of this is because of Keen's insane lead with the early game Vayne, where you are ranged and incredibly dominant. Went for the exhaust.
Yep.
And that is what you do, so the Renekton can't all-in you. And sometimes you could just use it to kill the Renekton, depending on how much damage you get done. But Keen hasn't been able to get Zeus into a really threatening position because Zeus is respecting and dropping a lot of farm, as you can see here, just trying to get what he can. He's like, oh, I'll get a few of those and be happy to just otherwise not interact with you.
Yep, and is actually staying very, very competitive on experience. In the meantime, Duro making his way over. The anchor is going to get dodged. Nice grand exit there from Duro. Oh no, it's the grand entrance, heroic entrance combo game.
Yeah, it is the fun one.
It's great for play-by-play. I really love having the same name.
I had this inkling, Atlas, like, I don't know what, came over me, but I was like, I have a feeling...
Designed a Splatoon character?
Yeah, well, I have tried to do that in my spare time once or twice. Not really. I just wanted to run with your reference there. Okay. But I was like, is Guma's most played champion Xayah? Like, it feels like it has to be, right? It is. Just by one over Vara. 68 games. This will be a 69th game of Xayah. He has a 76.5%.
I'm really glad we got through the last game he played Xayah unscathed.
Yeah.
Very happy about that one. It's all right. The taunt going to come through onto Zeka here as Chovy actually laning very nicely now that he's got a few buttons and has a Null Magic Mantle to try and deal with this. Because we know, like, this is the prime pick that HLE got by choosing first pick, right? It's the Orianna, and it's been very dangerous.
But so far, Chovy doing great in this laning phase. This bottom lane was very dangerous at times for Ruler and Duro, but they get out of it. Zeus is the one who's really having the hard time here, but now he's going to have some help, potentially.
Yeah, Kanavi doesn't quite have level 6 just yet, but we'll see whether Kane takes the bait. As there is a Lee Sin backing very close by, actually cancels it. And this is what we were saying. Put a bell on Kanavi. It looks like the bell's working. Yeah, as Canyon is shadowing him right now.
Kane also just very aware that there's no reason to do anything else. His whole job is to make it so Zeus can't kill the minions. He doesn't have to kill Zeus. They just can't let Zeus have the minions. He kills Zeus if Zeus tries to get the minions.
And Kanavi can't have level 6.
Yeah, he can't.
Canyon hits it himself and pulls the red buff into the brush as now Keen comes over, finds the condemn stun. There's the silver bolts as well. And the exhaust is down. Zeka gonna have to flash to get over this wall. And now Keen could be in a little bit of trouble. Chovy though moving in. There's the heroic entrance. Gets the knock up onto Kanavi. The kickback from Canyon as the shockwave comes in. Is it gonna be enough? And it is. Zeus locks down the Lee Sin. And now Keen trying to deal with this crocodile. And it ain't gonna work. A double kill, but he will go down. And Chovy getting chased down. The clockwork windup is working, and the flash needs to be used. 2 for 2 as both teams are on the board.
Yeah, really even exchange here between these as we have a fight down here on the bottom side as well, going the way of Gen G, but Guma gets his ult.
Yeah, let's see whether the Featherstorm is going to work out here. The flash forward from Gumayushi and goes backwards, but then lands on the grand entrance. Duro with the sick outplay, and Ruler gonna get the passive. That's the double, and Gen G really turn it on its head and claim the lead.
The second Guma got his ultimate, you could see the angle where he's able to reverse his ult to go back on top, but he just gets outplayed. And then here, this initially looks like, oh, this is such a free win here for Gen G because Chovy can join with his ultimate, and Canyon is so much mobility, right? And so they play through Keen here. Kanavi is not able to actually burst him down, and there's a lot of damage here coming through, but then the Renekton is like, but I'm a Renekton, and I get a lot of heals, and I also do a lot of damage. You guys are standing in melee range of me. Zeus does eventually get taken out here, and the return play from Chovy, really nicely played by him, and Chovy will flash away. Down here, it's all about Guma's level 6, so you can see he's able to hit it off of this wave, and then once he does, he's like, I have an angle, as we do have a bit of a fight in live, but I don't know if it's going to eventuate. So once the second wave comes over, he hits level 6. We start the replay a bit early. And then as he's hitting it, Delight's like, I have this angle to hook.
I can't wait to watch Duro finding
Duro. So keep your eyes on Duro
grand entrance
when Guma gets level 6 here and goes for this. So hook comes through. Guma's like, I'm going to get behind him. Flash. And then Duro just predicts exactly where he's going to land and just says, nope. And then Ruler just does the extra damage there. It was just a beautiful play from Duro. The way I watched all of the beginning of that replay, it kept trolling me. I was like, he's going to hit 6 on this wave. Oh, it's the next wave. It's the next wave. But ultimately, that was the main moment there where Duro just says, I know where you come down.
Yeah, and I know when you come down as well. So Gumayushi does fall in this bottom lane, and now it's a 600 gold lead for Ruler. 2.2k actually for Gen G just in general, as Ruler's able to sidestep the anchor. Still, HLE, I think they've got a lot of tools as we move towards the mid-game. I don't think they need to be, you know, worrying about what they're going to say in the losers interview after the game just yet. But it is a great start here for Gen G. And it kind of needed to be, right, with this Vayne composition.
Absolutely.
Canyon's moving in, though, and there is no flash on Guma. Does have his ult back up now.
He has Ghost as well.
Yeah, spotted on this ward with the double tap of the Boomerang Blade. We'll just force him out of the lane. Dragon hasn't really been a thing that we've looked at so far. 3 grubs did go over to HLE earlier on. That's what we saw in the picture-in-picture.
Canyon with a pretty big farm lead over Kanavi, has a large experience lead, which is what's being showcased there in that
item
graphic.
lead.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good first item for the Lee Sin.
And this has been more popular recently. Going for this first instead of Thunder Sky. Very powerful. A lot of explosive damage early in a comp like this where you want to try to snowball things. You have the scaling Sivir, right? But you do want to get to the mid-game where you can actually fight into Renekton, Pantheon, Orianna as fast as possible and set up those lanes for success, which he has done very successfully here, although Keen kind of did a lot of his early leading on his own. Now he no longer has a lead because of that scrap where Zeus picked up 2 kills. He's still a Vayne.
Even.
Yeah, it's actually the rare 0 there in the
It was
league column.
0 for so long as well. Often we see it tick over to like 1 or 2 like very, very quickly, but stayed 0 for quite some time. Now it's going to be Zeus clearing out the wave. King going to have to catch it. And there is a Rakan up here spotting out what's going on.
Yeah, and Chovy
in the area.
He has ult, so they need to be careful because he can join if they do try to go for that dive. He's not in position right now, though.
Justice Punch actually on top of Zeka here as Chovy gets to clean up the minion wave and do some harass damage. As HLE just moved 4 people into the top lane and look to try and get Gumayushi back into a good position. Flash down once again for Zeka as Ruler just having the best time ever here in this bottom lane as Grand Entrance is going to connect onto only Zeus. Duro able to get himself out of there with the Battle Dance as well as somehow that Sonic Wave missed onto Kanavi.
Ruler's gold lead is exploding while he gets free time with that turret in the bottom side, by the way. He is getting huge.
Not to mention the experience lead as well. Every wave is going just to him.
Yeah, he is starting to become a big, big problem. He's a full level up on Guma right now. And HLE just trying to pull the trigger.
Yeah, there's the flash quickness to come in. He charms up 3 people. Heroic Entrance comes down, but it's interrupted. Gumayusi now in so much trouble though as Keen takes him out. And now he gets to go ballistic. Double kill for the Vayne. Finds the other one as it's a triple for Keen. Zeka gets taken out as Canyon snipes him and Zeus has lost all of his friends and he just gets punched by a gargoyle. And look at Ruler just emoting by himself in the bottom lane.
Might have just been that ace emote coming through, Atlas, as they get the
4v5.
And like, look at the mini map right now. Ruler's pushing. My biggest issue is by this amazing charm here by Duro. My God, it's like everything goes incredibly well here for Gen G. Keen's doing massive damage. Then this taunt in the choke tri-brush is a triple.
Lord.
There's just like this could not have gone better for Gen G. But my issue with Hanwha sending 4 topside there was. It meant that Zeka couldn't join initially because there was Elise in there in the mid lane, and Chovy had prio from that trade. Ruler's pushing bottom lane, so you're on a clock, and Chovy's always going to be able to ult to get to that top side fight. Didn't necessarily end up happening the way I thought it would, but they felt priced in because they were like, we're losing our bottom turret, we have to do something, but Gen G just outplayed them. So guess what? They lose their bottom turret, which is first brick, and get outplayed, and it's a 5,000 gold lead at 13 minutes, and this Sivir is 1.2k of that gold lead here at 13. Like, this game may just be done.
Oh, goodness me. Well, Gumayusi is going to get pushed back and doesn't have his Featherstorm, does have Flash. But he cannot lane against Keen. Keen is kind of a big deal right now on 3, 1, and 4 on the Vayne.
If he had some, I don't think Guma could even try to lane into him, but he's going to have some help here, some friends now.
Yeah, thankfully Delight does make his way up.
And Sivir, by the way, just looking for another turret. While all this is happening, so many resources given over to get Guma into a stable place in this game. Another plate goes over to the Sivir.
As Canyon spotted on a ward, but Gumayusi's still taking damage here. But this turret is starting to look worse for wear. HLE really did want to take that one down. As Guma does at least finish his quest. You can see Delight very, very close to finishing his as well. As Gen G, well and truly in the driver's seat. 5,000 gold, as you mentioned before.
I mean, Chovy is like, well, I'm not going bottom lane right now. I don't really have any reason to. There's no turret. I'm not going to push any further into the enemy territory where there's a Pantheon on the map. I'm instead just going to kind of see what I can do here, see if I can find anything to impact shadow both my mid and top lanes, where 280 carries are farming. And Keen is just getting so much money here for free. This turret is totally safe. And finally, Zeus gets to the bottom lane, but like it doesn't matter anymore. Now Chovy's swapped over to the top side. And Keen's going to be able to go bottom. He has teleport now because role quest. So,
all right, well, Canyon looking for an angle here. Let's see whether he finds it. There's the kick flash, and Zeka going to get taken down. Shockwave comes in and doesn't really do anything at all. There is the Canyon Lee Sin that we know and love.
Chovy doesn't have TP, but he will fairly soon here. They need to make something happen on this bottom side play, and they need to make it happen fast, or they're just going to get punished again. And this turret is so healthy. I mean, it's a bounty on this turret, but it's going to take so long, and Chovy's getting all of that top turret right now and can TP down for the defense. Like, it's checkmate Hanwha Life Esports. Like, Hanwha Life Esports can't do anything. There is no play here. There's just nothing they can do. They are literally checkmated in this situation on the map.
Well, there's a teleport that's going to come in from Zeka, as Kanavi moving over as well, does have the Skyfall that can be utilized.
And now Chovy is just like, well, now I'm in danger if I push further. So I'll just walk away, and we'll get the dragon on the other side of the map where I can also join with TP.
Not to mention, he's got just the most tanky build for his first item and shoes. So it's just never going to be a great thing, as there's the kick flash after the smite.
Smite slow, kick post flash, everything is clean about the safeguard approach. It's just fairly, he makes it look like it's basic as hell.
Yeah.
He stood there, but
I mean, we've seen the things that Canyon has done. If you've watched the recent LoL Esports video about the best Lee Sin plays of all time, we all knew what play number 1 was going to be when we loaded up that video. And Canyon, like, they missed even one of the best parts of the play and it was still absurdly
There's just
obvious
too
that it
many.
was number one.
There's just too many of his greats. You know, we just can't let him have all the glory.
So Orcs and I were watching it, and we had this theory that they left it out on purpose to bait comments. Now, Keen is going to get CC'd. Kanavi is also in a little bit of trouble here as Ruler takes him down. Keen lasted a lot longer than I was expecting, but it's actually Gumayusi that locks down that kill. Chovy turns up here in this bottom lane and then walks away.
Chovy basically just showing up here to make sure that Ruler can keep pushing mid, I guess.
Yeah, no, he's like, I need to take his body. So he just is allowed to go past, but isn't actually able to affect the play.
Well, you know, you said it to me. I don't know if you said it to me on broadcast or not, but we can talk about what if it wasn't. You said,
okay.
Even if this third game is complete wash, this might go down as one of the best series of the year.
Yeah.
This third game is a complete wash, Atlas.
Yeah, so we're going to have to like maybe debate whether or not this is the best series, but it has been some pretty good gameplay by Gen G in this early game. As another one from Canyon, just going to be safeguarding over to get the perfect angle, and it just feels pretty nice watching Canyon play this champion. Mustn't feel very good for Kanavi, who just had a brilliant game on the Lee Sin himself.
Keen buys so much time here, and that's why Chovy is able to show up here and then prevent them from following as
oh dear.
I mean, look.
Imagine like thinking like about playing the game without like Summoner Spells or a Feather Storm.
Yeah.
Gumayusi had absolutely zero options there. As at least Kanavi has a health bar and an Aegis, and that is going to keep him alive.
I think that this game isn't about any particular necessarily failings of any HLE players. It's just the lead here has snowballed so incredibly well. I think the four-man top play was absolutely not it.
Yeah,
and
I think that is lost in the game, and sometimes you make one mistake against Gen G, and the game is kind of
I mean, there were some
over.
small things that, you know, they could have done better. Like, Zeka could have played safer in the mid lane when he got safeguard, flash kicked. Like, but who's counting, right? But if you have if you put the zoom in on, like, Guma's flash outplay attempt, and you're like, this is why they lost the game is because Guma went for that. Or, like, this is why they lost the game because Guma was away from his turn. I'm like, no, guys, I mean, this is not the
I think they lost the game because they lost a 4v5 when Gen G didn't have their AD carry that was taking a turret by himself in the bottom lane.
I don't think I'll see that comment in the postgame.
And said AD carry is now 4-0-0 on Sivir.
IE at 18 minutes?
Okay, well, I'm feeling a little worried about HLE's chances. Let's see whether Chovy feels worried about his chances here, as Canyon, thanks to the Ocean Rift, is able to keep himself out of sight. Does throw in that Sonic Wave as Kanavi
Gen G might eventually decide to let this turret go. It might be time. Much as I recently threw out a lot of cables recently myself, like it's sometimes you're like, I really was attached to that turret. So it's where we won the big thing that won the game. It was like a really big moment for me. I don't want to let it, no, just don't be a hoarder, Gen G, just let it go.
Yeah, bounties come in, and honestly, they've released better HDMIs, Wolf. Like, you don't need to hoard them. Like, just get the 2.1 or whatever it is.
That old, like, knockoff AV cable I had, I don't need that. No, I don't.
No, DVI is a thing of the past.
I threw away some DVI to display converter cables.
Oh, no.
But what if I need that? No,
yeah, what if you need to make that VGA monitor work again like you had in primary school?
I'd have to open up, like, you know, Coupon and spend 2,501. I better save that.
Just for some translation, ladies and gentlemen, that is about $2. It's not very much.
Yeah. Also, the cable had a lot of dust on it, you know. It was
Or
kind of.
for the British, maybe it's like £1.50. I don't know.
How much yen is that?
No idea.
How about, like, how much in Zimbabwe does that go for?
If there are any Zimbabweans watching, please let us know what the currency conversion
What
might
about,
be.
like, South African dollars?
Also not sure, as it turns out.
What about yuan? It could have been a lot of value somewhere.
That one I can almost translate, but from Korean to won is like, that's hard.
Okay.
I used to be able to do it. It was about 6 times the Australian dollar back in 2010. Yeah.
It turns out that for keeping my room tidy, it was worth a lot to throw them away. And Gendy threw that turret away, and they didn't throw the game away with it.
They have not just yet. As HLE, they are looking to try and deny Soul Point. And they have positional advantage here, but there are wards sneakily hidden around this pit. And so Gen.G do know what's going on. Duro in a weird flank angle looking for Zeus as the Stride Breaker does go wide. Canyon looking to try and get himself in there, and he steals away the dragon. The grand entrance is so good as the quickness charms them all up, and the kick. Oh, Canyon, you absolute gem, as Gen.G will slam their wallets down and really solidify their win here in Game 3.
And sometimes, when the Lee Sin gets locked, I question it. I go, I don't know what this plan is, Gen.G. I'm not 100% sure about this draft. But when Canyon's playing it, you just have to wait and see. And we did, and we saw. Lee Sin can't see, but he can smite this dragon. And he is having an amazing game. Definitely making the POM conversation a little bit murkier after Chovy's amazing RA game. I'm still going to vote for Chovy, I'm not going to lie. But insane performance here on this Lee Sin. But they have such a lead. But it's like they didn't need to steal the dragon and also demolish them in the team fight and also like clown on them as well. But like they did.
Yeah.
And
yeah, this is like the 15-year-old competing in the 7-year-old race and then celebrating a whole lot at the end.
Like,
you don't need to do that.
If he didn't get the dragon, we could have at least been like, Hanwha got the dragon, but was it worth it? And have a conversation. We can't even have that conversation. They didn't even get the dragon. They didn't get anything.
This is looking very, very rough, as Kanavi is still Pantheon, so at least he's not going to get picked here, as Delight doesn't quite find the anchor. But HLE are just circling the drain. I was going to say slowly circling the drain, but it's actually starting to up the pace right now. And I don't want to say this as like, it's not any indication of HLE not being a great team here in the LCK, but what are you supposed to do now?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's a 9,000 gold lead at 22 minutes.
Checkmate, man.
Yeah, they're into a Vayne that's 5-2-6. This Lee Sin is absolutely berserk right now. Chovy hasn't died, and Ruler is on 3 items, and he's Sivir.
You know when you reach checkmate in chess, like that's the end of the game, you don't actually take the king.
Yeah, that's...
But in League of Legends, you actually have to take the king.
Yeah,
so.
you don't really do the conceit.
And for some reason, like, Hanwha won't make the last move. Because Gen.G are like, please let me take the king.
They technically have time left on the clock.
True.
All right, well... HLE going to do what they can, and obviously there is always the opportunity for a mistake to be capitalized on. It is never over till it's over. This is a tenacious team, but I just don't know whether there are very many inroads outside of colossal Gen.G failure. But they've just been playing so well. I think Duro as well, as far as that conversation for POM, my God, his Rakan has been just insane.
Like that play from Guma was almost like one of the coolest moments you could see in his Xayah lane, right? But he just gets shut down. That top side play was a disaster, and this Vayne got online so early. The Sivir was untouched and uncontested. So many things went wrong for HLE this game. They just didn't even get to play League of Legends.
Well, now on the hunt, going to get popped, and that is just a broken inhibitor turret. Gumayusi taking so much damage as Keen just tumbles away from the anchor. Kanavi trying to deal with this push in the mid lane, as well as Chovy and Canyon getting some work done. Canyon hits a Q, doesn't go back in, and they'll take the inhibitor. As Zeka looking for a little bit of an orb. That is a really beautiful little animation.
This is we're getting to the Willy Wonka. You know, I pull this one out every now and then where he's yelling, "You lose, you get nothing, sir." You know, like that's how I'm feeling when I'm watching Zeka try to get something. And then Gene Wilder is telling him that he's not.
I thought you were going to talk about Augustus Gloop eating the microphone.
Oh, yeah.
That moment, like whenever anyone mentions Willy Wonka, that's all I think about. I'm like, wow, what an iconic scene. Just sort of stands there and eats the microphone.
Well, it's quite topical because we are getting close to talking about those golden tickets to MSI. And Gen.G, with this win here, definitely still firmly in the conversation of being one of our 2 teams to go, right? KT is still like hanging on, right, as being one of those, like, bro, still maybe, you know, but ultimately we have 3 teams we're really thinking are the true contesters. And Gen.G are demolishing our #1 team here in the LCK right now in this final game.
And you know what's fantastic? We have already, like, 3 teams qualify for EWC as well, and they have all been involved in the 2 best of 3s that we've had so far in the LCK.
Yes.
So we will be able to watch even more of these three squads, including T1, is now the engage onto Chovy as the double taunt does come in. Delight is going to go down, and there's a kickback onto Guma. He does get the Featherstorm, but Duro obviously CCs the whole team, and that is going to be curtains for HLE. Zeus takes a little while to kill, but now the victory march comes in, and Gen G, they secure the ace, and they'll secure revenge here the second time they face off against HLE.
HLE's first place spot being challenged here by Gen G in a big way in what was a phenomenal series, but unfortunately for HLE, a very weak final game where Gen G just stomp all over them.
So revolting.
You know, when you play StarCraft Brood War, like on the Korean server, it's considered rude if you don't actually resign. Like,
Yeah.
the game, and it was very common to ask, like, can you please leave?
I'm not going to search for that last pylon, you idiot.
Yeah. It's quite common to ask the person to leave, rudely or politely, here on the Korean server, and it felt like that was Canyon's way of doing it here in League of Legends. So yeah, this is a dominant win. Ruler does 28,000 damage, and the rest of HLE were trying to get to a point in the game where they could hit the champions.
Yeah, and they didn't quite manage to do that. This was an absolute shellacking.
Guma's first loss on the Xayah this season as well.
Fair few first losses, as Zeka, I don't think, had lost a game on the Orianna as well. It was a very coveted pick. I think, actually, Chovy picking the Galio into it was somewhat suspect. You can see 4-0-13 on the champion, and he picks up this POM because of the Ahri.
Yeah, the Ahri game,
gentlemen,
if he doesn't play that well, we don't even have a game 3. That's why I voted for him. Because for me, I was like, this was such a carry performance, and he won the game and brought us to a winnable series because of it. He does separate himself further now over Zeka at 800 to 600. We've had a few seasons...